Hey y'all, how is everybody doing? We are back. Excuse me. We are starting. Well, I had already did the introduction last time of this. I'm gonna actually try to put them all in like a playlist of the different books, make it easier. This one will go into that. I only have one other one, I think, of this one, or maybe there's two actually. I think there's two. So I'll see if I can add them to it. But we are reading Awakening the Avatar Within. Again, I'm Renee, if you don't know, and welcome. This page I read, I've read a couple books, kind of holds me accountable to different things that I want to read as well, and that certain things I feel like I want to be able to share with anyone who happens to come across it. I definitely feel like we always come across things when the right time and when we're guiding to or when we need that knowledge or understanding. But this is section 1 of chapter 1 that we're reading today. And it's called I Am Avatar. The 9 chapters in this section, like I said, we're only doing 1, 2, 3. We're only doing chapter 1 of this section. But this book is weird. It's like different sections, and each section has so many chapters. But it says the 9 chapters in this section contain the core teachings of how to live as an avatar, recognizing your unique spiritual transmission, healing yourself, claiming your superpowers, transforming your body, and recognizing and helping bring in the new earth. It will also raise your consciousness about the planetary ascension of consciousness we are all part of at this time. Because I feel like that's another thing that people sometimes forget. We're part of a collective consciousness, and it's not just we're not just experiencing or could be experiencing our own karma, collective group things as well. And certain types of things happen out of our control, and that needs to be accepted as well. But anyways, I am Avatar. In order to understand what an avatar is, you first need to grasp what divine source is. Divine source is the highest point from which real originates. I emphasize the word real because so much of what our minds consider to be reality is only a dim reflection of the bright light we truly are. An avatar is a representative embodiment of divine source, imbued with the force of destiny to affect large numbers of people and help to change the course of history. Now, if after reading that last paragraph you're having a hard time identifying yourself as an avatar who can help change the course of history, that's completely understandable. In our upbringing, most of us have been domesticated to believe that we are limited and full of flaws. And that actually kind of goes along with the other book I'm reading, The Fifth Agreements, and then we read the first one before that, which was the fourth agreements, but those kind of go about understanding those limited beliefs and things that are learned. Even people who have been meditating for a long time tend to believe that we have a long path of gradual spiritual growth ahead of them. But is that really true? If you evaluate yourself now, you may assess a combination of strengths and weaknesses, ways you feel confident and grounded, and ways you still feel wobbly and insecure. Maybe a future version of yourself who has already healed your deepest wounds and mastered your weak, wobbly parts. This future self has passed through the struggles you may be facing and lives in a state of enlightened, multidimensional mastery beyond your mind's present comprehension. Reality is holographic, which means that everything in the universe, including all you call your past and future experiences, exist right here and right now. Therefore, your masterful future self also exists here and now. By simply believing you can, is this the right one? Yeah. By simply believing you can, it's possible for you to call upon this part of you and bring its unlimited creation power into your present experience. Because your future self is tapped into all the love, consciousness, and power of the universe and is available to you right now, you can help change the course of history. Recognizing your avatar self, who already exists here and now, requires a shift in your perception of yourself. You, the personality, you largely identify with now doesn't need to live up to any idealized images of perfection, spirituality, or selfless loving to embrace your avatar self. Your avatar is already alive and well within you, just as you are now. In fact, you'll likely come to realize that every experience you've been through in your life has been orchestrated to bring you to this point of realization. That includes all of your successes and alleged failures, all the knowledge and skills you've gained in many areas of your life, and your deepest traumas. It was all a soul guided course in cultivating the wisdom and compassion needed to develop your superpowers and live as an avatar. Understanding your avatar self. To really understand avatars and why they come here, it is necessary to understand that our human race is in a deeply fallen state compared to the natural radiance of our true selves. In this case, fallen means that as a race, we have become more caught up in the dense, lower frequency energies of fear and separation than we are with the bright, love filled frequencies of our true selves. If we were living in a more awake and a more sane way, we would know who and what we really are. We would readily recognize that we are interconnected spiritual beings expressing ourselves through the physical experience. Therefore, there would be way less conflict and polarization, because we've been asleep and caught up in our mostly dark waking dream. Source has now and then had to send messengers who are more awake to the human race. These messengers came to shout, hey, you guys, you sleeping? You're sleepwalking toward the cliff of self-destruction. You need to turn around and go in a different direction. Come on, get with the program of who you really are. Here are the few teachings and techniques to help you along the way. By the way, love one another. We've called those we've recognized as avatars using titles such as Christ, the Anointed One, Buddha, the Enlightened One, and the Kuan Yin, the Compassionate One. Those were not the names of these messenger humans. They were the job descriptions. The name Krishna, another legendary avatar from ancient India, means dark blue, or the all-attractive one. And it has like a picture. Avatars have demonstrated a golden path in front of each human being that deeply transforms our bodies and awakens our consciousness if we follow it. Along this golden path are major change points resembling the subatomic quantum leaps described by quantum physicists. These times of rapid upleveling of consciousness are sometimes called spiritual initiations. Melanie is a sports medicine, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, acupuncturist and herbalist specialized in pain and orthopedic conditions. While she had a successful practice for some time, she felt something was missing. Here is how Melanie described how her consciousness awakened while attending a virtual quantum healing retreat. I need a drink of water. I end up getting further and I'm like, Melanie. It is Melanie, that's her name. Okay. I have had a lot of training when it comes, and this is something she said. I have had a lot of training when it comes to the biomedical side and the Eastern medicine side, but I felt that I had been lacking something more well-rounded. I needed the energetic aspect, the spiritual aspect. That's something that my school education didn't touch, and that they do not. School does not teach us how to be connected with ourselves. I could not for the life of me feel embodiment, and that was just driving me nuts because I had done a lot of self-work through various books and online programs, but I kept getting asked the same question, and what it was asking me was, if you take away your past and who you feel you are in your profession and all of these other external things, who are you really? I was stumped. I couldn't answer that. That was really bothering me because I felt like there's more here. When we started doing the meditations as part of the retreat, for the first time I actually got to feel the embodiment, which I have been trying to find for me. And it was very, very eye-opening and awakening. It was a very emotional experience for me because it's been something that I never felt existed inside of me. Since I've been awakened, I've just felt so much more at ease and comforted and safe. Safety is a feeling that I've never had before. I resonate with that. Previously, I always felt like I had to keep looking for the next thing, the next book, the next class, the next meditation, or the next course, and I just don't feel that anymore. Yes. The last 2 to 3 weeks have been the first time in my life that I have not felt constant anxiety about any external things or even internal things. I felt very quiet inside, which was very strange for me because I've always had this internal dialogue constantly going on, and I just didn't feel that anymore. I also felt a lot of physical manifestations come out. I now have this sensitivity to knowing what foods are good for me, and I'm feeling my food again at a cellular level when I eat it. I had turned that off for many different reasons, but for now it's turned back on. I feel like I see the world differently. Sounds are sweeter and my food tastes better. The earth looks brighter and I can even see music now. Before I could never do that. See all of this awaken inside of me. That was something that she said. What the heck? My nose itches. Avatars and religions. Avatars are like big brothers and sisters who come here to help show up us the way, but of course, being the superstitious, addictive, and outward projecting beings we tend to be, we take these big brothers and sisters and put them up on pedestals and say, I worship you. You are special and unique. I will build big churches and organizations around you and enshrine your words in special books and persecute the hell out of anyone who dares question these holy books. We will create a whole class of special meteor priests who's specially ordained to connect people to you. We reserve extreme punishments for those in our flock who dare to consider that God, the highest authority, is within themselves. That is blasphemy and punishable by anything ranging from ridicule and being ostracized to death, and that a whole lot of other things that I'll frankly call nonsense. Now, I'm not saying religions are useless or misguided. The major religions of the world have done a great deal of good by encouraging people to study the teachings of the avatars, to be helpful and charitable to others, and in general to live more virtuous lives. There has also been a very dark side of religions. This has included the Crusades, sexual abuse scandals, forced conversions to the point of a sword, calling spiritually gifted women witches, and burning them at the stake in general, demonizing and justifying the persecution of the other. Aside from these extreme abuses, the overall problem I have with religions is that they are partially based in deep ignorance. We should worship the messenger. Rather than truly realize the message they come to bring us. That message is that we all have the potential to live as avatars and know what it is for our true selves. If we carefully read the actual messages of the great avatars, they are telling us they are here to demonstrate what each of us is capable of. Truly, I tell you, the one who believes in me will also do the works that I do, and he will do even greater works than me because I am going to the Father, Jesus. We are what we think. All that we are arises within our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Buddha. So an avatar is really when you wake up to who you really are. That is so important that I'll repeat that again. An avatar is really you when you wake up to who you really are. All of the negative comparisons we make between ourselves and the famous avatars are on the level of limited, conditioned mind. So claim your own avatar mission without the need for comparisons. Another thing obstructing a clear understanding of what avatars are is that so much of what we read about this subjects come from ancient texts, translated multiple times. Even each time a sacred text is translated, some of the original meaning is distorted by the biases and belief systems of the translator. We're used to reading about avatars in outdated, often fanciful language, generally not how people actually speak and think. Therefore, we tend to file that information away in a different part of our brain, intangible things in our everyday lives. One of my goals is to update this information into plain language you can make more easily grasp. I'm not telling you to necessarily believe my interpretations either. As an awakening avatar, you have powerful inner senses to tell you what is true for yourself. I literally just said that today, reading the chapter that we read today in the other book, Fifth Agreement. To make sure that, I think it was at the end when I was pulling cards. Oh, I'm going to have to get my charger. Hold on. Get to the charger. Okay. Time out. I thought it was more charged than this. My apologies. I sometimes talk in accents because I think it's fun. And I'm sorry the lighting isn't that good. But mostly you're here to hear the story. So that's okay. We'll say that it's okay. My nose is so itchy. And I don't know why. But yeah, I said that earlier. Like, we know what is true inside of us. Like, your truth, it will resonate with you. You'll feel it. You feel the truth. The truth is silent. That's what it was. Buddha encouraged his students to be skeptical of all and question everything. That was another thing. Buddha encouraged his students to be skeptical of all they had heard and to arrive at the truth for themselves. Don't go by reports, by legends, by traditions, by scripture, by logical conjecture, by inference, why can't I talk today? By analogies, by agreement through pondering views, by probability, or by the thought. This contemplative is our teacher. When you know for yourselves that these qualities are skillful, these qualities are blameless, these qualities are praised by the wise, these qualities, when adopted and carried out, lead to welfare and to happiness, when you should enter and remain in them. Buddha. The gist of this statement from Buddha is, don't believe anything that goes against your own sense of what is right for your common sense, even if you hear it from me. So yeah, always go with that. Oh my gosh. Why? My nose was not itching like the 1711. My nose was not itching like this before I started this today. Avatars are pioneers and prototypes. Avatars come here with a special mission, purpose, and style. According to the records, some came as peaceful wandering teachers, and some came as warriors. Yet they all came here to wake people up, especially at times when the human race was descending into a major self-destruction direction. If you look around at our world, that may ring a bell. Yes. The avatar who appears to have had the greatest impact on the human race was Jesus of Nazareth, probably called Yeshua in his native Aramaic tongue. Jesus was an extraordinarily courageous man who accepted the gigantic mission of prototyping the high-octane experience of being the Christ in human form. What he did was analogous to the first fish who flopped up on a beach and managed to survive breathing air. My cat is purring so loud. Therefore, by prototyping being an early amphibian, I'm sure those creatures felt like they were almost dying as they were gasping for air while their gills shut down and their rudimentary lungs were just starting to come online. But by going through that transformation, those first amphibians helped open up a whole new order of life on land. Jesus took an evolutionary leap like that on the chin as he triumphed over the pain and horror of human mortality and made his ascension. He blazed a new path to demonstrate that this was really doable, creating a template by becoming Christed that all of us now can follow much more easily. I have seen convincing evidence from researcher and author Margaret Regalioso, I'm sorry if I don't say names properly, that Jesus' mother Mary also was a very powerful and highly influential avatar. Although the scriptures and dogmas approved by the Christian Church depicted Mary as a holy saint, it seemed that she was also a highly adept spiritual master in her own right. She used advanced spiritual alchemy to prepare her womb to birth an avatar who would change the course of human history. Mary steadily infused the growing fetus within her with special activating frequencies of light and sacred sound. These prepared Jesus to manifest superpowers that were very ahead of the consciousness of his time. As awakening avatars, you and I also developing our own superpowers. You and I and billions of other people are able to be guided and inspired by the avatars who have lived on Earth because many of them are now acting as ascended masters, former human beings who have passed all the tests of the material life. Because of their victory over the lower ego-based self, ascended masters are able to powerfully serve huge numbers of people from the spiritual realms. I have some crazy news for you. That option is also open to you as you progress on your path. Avatars with a dark mission and avatars of creative power. We usually think of avatars as beings who brought advanced ideas and elevated spirituality. There's a picture too that shown. Yet the forward evolution of human consciousness has at times required massive tearing down of old forms. Dark avatars are those who helped transform humanity in ways that created great destruction and suffering. A clear example of Khan, who lived in Mongolia in the 1200s, starting out as an orphan child struggling to survive amidst enemy tribes. His destiny led him to create a massive army, eventually conquering China, most of Asia, and Eastern Europe. While Khan and his followers were responsible for untold amounts of killing and destruction, his influence eventually opened up trade routes, and cultural connections between East and West never existed before his time. Therefore, however harshly we may judge him, he was a man who dramatically changed the course of history. Hitler was a modern dark avatar. As his odious influence left the world a changed place within the USA, ascendant as the major world power, and the balance of power in Europe permanently altered. None of this sanctions or condones evil done by Hitler or other dark avatars. It just acknowledges that these individuals have also had major roles in shaping human history. It is important for us to learn from these historical experiences so the human race has less need for more of that kind of massive destruction. Many musicians, artists, scientists, and humanitarians have also well-known avatars because their influence significantly altered or evolved human consciousness. My favorite example is the Beatles. Four lads from Liverpool, England, whose music strongly influenced an entire generation and beyond, and helped expand human consciousness. It could be argued that basketball prodigy LeBron James is an avatar because through his huge influence, many black organizations gained in political clout. Because these organizations turned out a tremendous number of voters to the polls, James seems to have been a decisive force in helping the Democrats win the 2020 election. The Courage avatars, Rosa Parks and Claudette Colvin, before her, showed in standing up to racial segregation in the 50s and 60s, created a turning point in the civil rights movement in the U.S. There have been so many others express their avatar nature by rising to the level of great courage and determination in this and so many other vital moments toward justice and equality worldwide. Claiming your avatar nature. Part of the territory of claiming your own avatar nature is to realize who also have a certain purpose and mission. As you'll read in Chapter 3, the foundation of your mission is to get in touch with your divine avatar transmission and allow it to epigenetically transform your body and mind. This is a form of rewiring your body, allowing higher levels of spiritual energy to express through you. Then you'll be able to bring out your superpowers, which empower you to fulfill your mission. Claiming your avatar self can be a very rigorous process. You'll need to stop running from the parts of your psyche that may have been the hardest to face or have been repressed. Recurring dreams, nightmares, or patterns of dysfunctional behavior could be indications of places of great power within that your personality has been afraid to access or touch. In other words, the path of the avatar is not for the faint-hearted. Yet, neither are any other paths on this planet at this time. So why not play the master game? I like that, the master game. Seriously. I don't know. If anyone else is on this path with me, let me know. It's definitely not for the faint-hearted. That's for sure. I read a quote the other day that it is something about being courageous and like to deal with something of whatever the world and to still remain open-hearted and full of love. Okay. The second coming of Christ. The pure consciousness of the avatars is not an individual thing. It's a much more similar to mushrooms growing in the wild. There's those things again. On the surface, mushrooms look like microdosing has been coming up a lot for me lately. Let me know if anyone else has. On the surface, mushrooms look like separate plants popping out above the ground. Yet underground, they are all interconnected as one big organism. Did you know that a single mushroom organism can be as large as 4 square miles? That has been documented. While each of us has our own avatar mission and job description, our greater power is released when we come together with other avatars. The prophesied second coming of the Christ is not about a single superstar individual showing up who saves the world. The second coming is when large number of people awaken to their avatar self, come together in shared intent to love and serve. That is ultra powerful and happening on Earth right now. Yet you won't hear much about this growing movement in our favorite media. Good news doesn't boost ratings. The real truth about the transformation the human race is going through has been shown to us all along through many sources. Most people miss it because they are usually either too busy, too distracted, too apathetic, or too afraid to see it. In this book, I will quote from some of those sources. One is the hit 1999 movie, The Matrix. This is the story of a reclusive computer programmer named Neo, who is pursued by unknown assailants. After which he is offered the choice of a blue or red pill by the Morpheus. Enigmatic Morpheus. He is told that if he takes the blue pill, he can continue to see the world however he wants to. If he takes the red pill, he will be awakened to the reality of his situation and will see just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Neo chooses the red pill, and soon he sees that the world he believed he had been living in was only a computer simulation projected into his mind. His eyes are open to how he had been living as a slave and that he needed to free himself and help free others. The plot details of the movie are fictional, but the underlying message offers a remarkably accurate disclosure of the condition of the human race. They put so many things in movies, music, so many things at our faces, and I believe that they do they have to like tell us, they put it out in things, and like it frees them of of whatever, because we basically consent, but the way that they portray it, I need to fix this. The way they portray it is need the rainbows. The way they portray it is as if it's not real, or just a movie, or just this or that, and many people don't see past it. So I feel like that's another reason why I was guided to read this book and share with you guys, because more people need to be aware of the avatar within, wake up to their consciousness of who they really are, and break free of the chains. Since the Matrix movie was released, the human race has been rapidly freeing itself from those who would control and disempower us. This is wonderful, good news, yet you must realize and experience this truth for yourself. You do that by claiming your own freedom and awakening. Take your red pill. As you do that, you make it easier for others to claim theirs. In the conclusion of The Matrix, Neo is gunned down by agents who had been trying to shoot and kill him throughout the story. After appearing to be dead, Neo is revived by a kiss of the woman Trinity. As she reclaims his life, Neo realizes that he is the one who can simply put his hand and say no to the swarm of bullets coming toward him. As he does this, the bullets stop in midair and fall harmlessly to the ground. This is a dramatization of true self-realization, in which we realize our true identity as Christ's avatars. Through this, we accept our power to create our reality, therefore becoming free from fear and death. The most vital transformation toward living as the avatar you as are as comes as you recognize and learn to consciously embody your avatar transmission. As you go through the process, you come to know yourself to be the one within your vulnerable human self who helps save the world just by being you. As we then come together with other lightworker avatars in the physical or on the inner planes, we discover our great power to rock this planet. Who's ready to rock this planet with me? Because I sure as fuck know that I am. And I'm ready and aware and awake, and there's no turning back. Guided exercise. Invoke the avatar within you. I think this is the last part. It is. So this is going to be a guided exercise. I'm not really sure what it is because it's my first time reading it with you. So let's see what it is. And you want to do it again after? I probably will. After, depending on what it is, I feel like it's going to be like a little meditation. If you are motivated to get in touch with your own avatar, identify a mission, start a journal for that purpose. It's powerful to start the process with clear intention. You can say words like these silently or out loud. So maybe write this down. Baby, write this down. It is my intention as the divine master that I am to invoke the avatar within. So that cancel, clear, delete. Let's start that over. It is my intention as the divine master being I am to invoke the avatar within me so that I directly experience this part of me physically, energetically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Bring awareness of my future self into my present experience as is appropriate for me now. I will repeat the invocation one more time. It is my intention as the divine master being I am to invoke the avatar within me so that I directly experience this part of me physically, energetically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Bring awareness of my future self into my present experience as is appropriate for me now. Now, having made your invocation, relax and let go. Simply breathe deeply, keeping your awareness on the sensations within your body. Focus on your loving presence and the feeling of joyful anticipation of coming to know and express more of your avatar future self now. The more you let go of your mind and sink into your body, the more your awareness can grow. Be curious and attentive. Now that you have invoked your avatar, what do you notice? You may notice subtle shifts in your energy or consciousness, different emotional feelings, tingling in parts of your body or other experiences, or you may feel you're not experiencing anything different. Your avatar self lives in a realm of stillness that often feels like emptiness to the human mind. If you're feeling nothing, let that be okay. Breathe fully into your lower abdomen, keeping your tongue lightly touching the roof of your mouth. It is possible you may experience waves of fear or tension arise after making such a powerful invocation. If you feel that, it's likely to be the voice of a young part of your psyche, domesticated, to think of yourself as small and powerless. This part has been called the slave self and is not real. Many of these practices offered in Section 4 will support you in transforming this old conditioning. When you feel complete in this avatar meditation, tighten the muscles around your root chakra to ground yourself. Feel your psyche presence in the room or the place you are. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Take a few conscious breaths within your eyes open, noticing the world looks like to you now. If you could take a few more minutes, write something about your experience and intention. Commit to writing in your journal several times in the coming week, or longer, about what comes up in your day-to-day experience, especially when you have dreams, insights, or strong feelings. Once you set that intention and start recording your experiences, things will start moving. Revelatory thoughts will come to you at unpredictable times. You may have lucid dreams, or people will show up in your life to mirror parts of you. They may do that lovingly and supportively, or sometimes through confrontation and challenge. The purpose of all that is to fulfill your intention of realizing your avatar self. And that's the end of that one. I felt a cooling sensation through my body. Let me know what you felt. And that is the end of that. I want to look and see here. Yeah. The next one is chapter 2 of, well, section 1, chapter 2. And it's getting motivated for, yeah. How do you pronounce that word? And the motivation, pure desire, how we avoid our inner work, your bliss meter, and guided practice, cultivating your true desires. That's what's going to be coming up in the next section or next chapter. I thank you guys for joining. I will get on soon. I'm going to put, like I said, this is going to be in a playlist, and I'm going to try to get back on sooner than this. Lots of different things have been coming up and just been busy, and sometimes you just have to take time to yourself. That's how we integrate things as well, as when we take time to ourselves. I'm still integrating things, but at the same time, sometimes you have to, depending on how long, like, don't let yourself stay too long, kind of like make yourself do things, push yourself out of your comfort zones. And that's what I was doing today, of getting on and reading these. All right, I'll see you guys soon, and have a good day. I love you.